This is a disease. This is a sickness. Well, I guess the sickness has finally ended and subsided. We have the antidote because there's a Nintendo Direct coming. A full-on Nintendo Direct, a 40-minute Direct presentation happening on 6/21, which is tomorrow when you're watching this video, at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, the only thing we know for sure will be at this event is Pikmin 4. I mean, I get it. People like Pikmin. I'm not here to bash your Pikmin fandom, but to me, like, I kind of get this because could you really do a full-on Direct for Pikmin 4 and have a lot of people be excited for it? Like, I feel like Pikmin is a series for fans of the franchise. I don't think it's really expanding all that much. You know, the Nintendo Switch effect doesn't really seem to be hitting Pikmin all that much, but it obviously is a franchise that does have its fans, so I'm glad that there's going to be some Pikmin 4 at this event for those people. How long will it take up? Like, if it's like 15 minutes long or something, I feel like that could be a little bit problematic, but the rest of the Direct, that's where things get really interesting because we don't know like what's happening here. There's been some rumors, there's been some speculation. So in this video, I kind of want to go over what I expect to be at this Nintendo Direct presentation because I think for the most part, this is the biggest mystery as far as we've had with any Nintendo Directs as of late. You know, people think, oh, is there going to be hardware at this event? Could they finally show the Switch 2? Shut up. They're not going to show the Nintendo Switch successor, whatever that is, whether it's a new concept or just a standard Switch 2. They're not going to show that at the random June Nintendo Direct to cannibalize everything else that they're going to show at this event. That doesn't make any sort of sense to me. No, there will not be any hardware at this event. If you see people talking about hardware, I probably wouldn't listen to them all that much because they obviously don't know how these sort of things work. It's going to be about software. It's going to be about games, third-party stuff. I think that Persona 3 remake, whatever the hell it's called, I believe that's going to be there. That's kind of like the worst kept secret in video games right now. Like Atlus themselves, Atlus of Japan, have actually leaked marketing material for the Nintendo Switch version of the game, so it shouldn't come as a huge surprise that that is actually going to be a thing. They pretty much just waited to announce the Switch version at this upcoming Nintendo Direct, I feel. Other third-party games, I mean, maybe like Prince of Persia, Sonic Superstars might be at this event. Maybe they'll show a little bit more Sonic Superstars at this because I feel like that's a game that will really be in tune with the Nintendo Switch audience. But I feel like, you know, there is a lot of questions going on. You're not going to see stuff like Mortal Kombat 1, although I would love to see how this game runs on the Switch. I don't think that's going to be there. But I think a game like Sonic Superstars does make sense. Maybe you could talk about, you know, some of the features of the game. Obviously, this game is coming out in the fall, so the run-up time for it isn't like super long or something, but I don't think many people are super interested in the third-party stuff. Like, the third-party stuff is cool. That's always supplemental when it comes to Nintendo. With Nintendo Directs, you want to know what's going to be first-party stuff at this event, and I think that's where things get just super interesting because beyond Pikmin 4, which we know is going to be here, we don't know anything. I mean, I guess everybody 1-2 Switch could be at this event, and like it probably should be, so you can actually like show off something from this game because we don't know anything about it. But like beyond that, beyond Pikmin, beyond the 2 games that we know about, what happens here? And I think that's where stuff gets really fun. You know, there's been lots of talks about a new 2D Mario game. That's something that I think on paper makes sense. It's not going to be in the new Super Mario Brothers style. It's going to have its own unique style. 2.5D is what people are saying. Obviously, the Super Mario Brothers movie was a huge success, so I feel like you do want to be able to capitalize on that. But you get into the whole thing of like, well, what are you going to bring to the table in terms of a 2D Mario game that's going to feel a little bit different? Like, I think like a Mario-Vania game. Like, follow me on this. A Mario-Vania game, I think that would be super interesting. I'm not saying that it would necessarily be great or anything, but I think it would be super interesting to try something like that because I just feel like the traditional, you know, start the level here, go to the end of the level here, you've pretty much tapped out what you can do with Mario as far as these 2D games are concerned, because you made so many of them, unless you just have a brand new concept, a brand new idea, or it's just like a top tier 2D Mario game. So I'm curious to see if that is an actual thing and if it comes to fruition. Of course, there's been rumors about a Super Nintendo game remake. Zippo buried me on his blog because I don't know, I poke fun at him, a lot of sensitive sallies on the internet nowadays. But supposedly it could be Super Mario RPG, it could be Chrono Trigger remake. I mean, you know, it's kind of up in the air. You know, I think Super Mario RPG, it's been a game that so many people have wanted to be brought into the modern era, and I think it would be the better game than Chrono Trigger as far as sales are concerned. I feel like Chrono Trigger at this point, you got to do it multi-platform, but something like Super Mario RPG, you could do something with that and make it unique to the Switch system and the family of systems. But like, what else? What else do you do here? Do you do Metroid Prime 4? Because Metroid Prime 4 has obviously been in development for quite a while. It's been in development hell. There's been high points of it. There's been low points of it. We still haven't seen a single thing from this game, and it was announced over 6 years ago. Is it time to finally show this? And is this a potential fall or holiday 2023 game for the system? Because I still feel like, I don't know. I just feel like this is still a 2024 game. I don't think it's quite ready yet, and it could end up being a game for the Switch successor. You know, it could be something that we see on the next platform as a launch title or something like that. But what else? What else? Like, do you talk about Tears of the Kingdom DLC? Is it too soon to talk about Tears of the Kingdom DLC? It's been like a month and like a week since that game has been out. Do you talk about potentially Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD? Obviously, people think that that's going to be a thing, and you know, we've been hearing time and time again, could we see all this GameCube stuff that we've been talking about beyond just Twilight Princess and Wind Waker? Could we see Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake? Could we see the Metroid Prime 2 remake or Metroid Prime 3 remake, which I guess it's technically a Wii game? Or, you know, what's going to go on with that? You know, could we see the more GameCube remakes that we've been, you know, told that are going to be in development? You know, it just depends. A lot of this, to me, is contingent on the future of the system. A lot of us expect the Switch to that the Switch is wrapping things up. 2024, we're going to get a new system. But what if that's not the case? What if Nintendo does plan to ride this out for all of 2024, and then 2025 is when the new system comes out? If that's the case, I think the whole tone of the Direct has to change, because if that's what you plan on doing, you have to have bigger titles. You can't just have GameCube remakes for the next year and a half, 2 years before you talk about your new system. You have to have heavy hitter titles to make people want to go out and purchase your system. You have to have potentially price drops as well, because, you know, eventually people are going to see that the writing is on the wall. But it really just depends on how Nintendo is viewing the future. And I think that's exciting. You know, I think this is probably one of the more exciting events, because much like, you know, the bigger companies, you have that unknown factor, but when it comes to Nintendo, the unknown factor is way higher. I mean, when you looked at Microsoft, you pretty much knew what Microsoft was going to showcase at this event, at their event that they just had. You knew things like Starfield were going to be there, that you were going to get a deep dive of that. You knew stuff like, you know, Avowed was probably going to be there. You know what their second half of the year looks like. Same thing with Sony and PlayStation. You know that Spider-Man 2 is the big game. What's the big game for Nintendo? Is there a big game for Nintendo? Have they sort of thought beyond this year? What does next year bring to the table? Will there be more smaller, like, man, it's going to be fun though. It's going to be super fun. Like I said, this event happens tomorrow on April, good Lord, on June 21st at 10 a.m. Eastern time. It'll be about a 40-minute presentation. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of stuff in there. Hopefully the cozy games, the farming sim games, keep those at a minimum, please. Like, if there's more than one, we have a problem. Just you know, give those there. Do your own cozy directs, do your own farming directs. Like, that's cool. You can do your own thing. We don't need it in a main one. But let me know in the comment section down below, what you think will be at this event. Do you think that there's going to be some heavy hitter stuff? Is it going to be a lot of GameCube stuff? You know, what's going to happen? Because I think that's the biggest mystery of them all. And I think that's what's leading to a fun presentation. And as always, guys, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll have a reaction video to the Direct up tomorrow. I would do a live reaction, but I don't know. I kind of just want to focus on watching it so I can take all my notes and then make a video afterwards. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video, which will be tomorrow. Later.